Hello everyone, back tuning in today's second video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days. For today's second video, going to take us around the 30th of April. So we go towards the final day of April now, within the 10-day time frame. And we'll also be able to extend out beyond that through the first week of May with the extended GFS and also ECM ensembles. Have a look at CFS feature at the end of the video for next month, of course. The end of the GFS run now is getting us pretty much to the end of the May Day bank holiday weekend. So it may be Easter weekend this weekend, but we're only a couple of weeks away from the next bank holiday weekend due to the lateness this year of Easter, of course. So we're going to begin Easter updates at, we're going to begin May Day updates at Galsworthy's tomorrow, as well as lots of other updates that are coming up tomorrow, and I'll talk you through those at the end of the video. If we do anything else, though, got to say about the competition, so we are now almost within the final 24 hours of the competition. We will be closing the competition at 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon. So you've got until 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon to get your entries in for the competition. After that, we won't be able to take any more entries because we've got to get all of the names together. We've got over 200 now, can you believe? I think that is the biggest response we've ever had to one of our competitions. We've been running these for 5 years every spring. So I think that's pretty much the biggest number of entrants we've ever had. We've still got 24 hours to go. Anyway, coming back to what's going to happen tomorrow. So 5 o'clock tomorrow, we're going to close the competition. We won't be able to take any more entrants from 5 p.m. tomorrow afternoon because we've got to get all of the names together, put them in the bag, and then one name is going to be drawn out. You'll see who the winner is at 7 p.m. tomorrow evening. That's when we'll be announcing the winner, and then we'll also give you your exclusive discount code for all runners up. All runners up will get a 15% off discount code for any product, including the Climax CM9088 temperature and humidity forecast station. All entrants will get that exclusive discount code. I'll give you that tomorrow evening as well, so you can buy this for yourself if you would like to, or you can buy any other product at netcheck.co.uk using your exclusive discount code. It will be valid for 1 month. So almost in the final 24 hours of competition. If you would like to be with a chance of winning the temperature and humidity forecast station, worth £50, so it's a fantastic prize. All you need to do is email your name and local town or city to galsworthies@gmail.com, or fill out the contact form on the competitions page. You will be placing to the prize draw, and then I say somebody will be winning this tomorrow. Somebody will definitely be winning this tomorrow. You've got to be in it to win it. We have got over 200 entrants, so it's a big response, but even so, everybody has the same chance of being pulled out of that bag. So yeah, you've got to be in it to win it. So get emailed in. Got just over 24 hours to go. 5 p.m. tomorrow, that's when we will be closing the competition. Big thank you to netcheck.co.uk Weather Instrumentation for supplying us with this prize, and good luck to all of you. Right, let's get on with the video then. I'm going to start off by having a look at the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from the Penn State University. We've got the ECMWF here on the top, and the GFS, which we'll have a look in a moment, is on the bottom. 500 millibars, antithesis area in the atmosphere where high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates to high pressure, blue to low pressure. This is what the ECM is showing for the 7 to 10 day time frame. So it has quite a large blocking area of high pressure up to our north. High pressure is from Greenland over towards the north of Scandinavia. It also has high pressure down across Spain and the Mediterranean. That's quite unusual to get high pressure down there and high pressure blocking in the northern latitudes. In between, we've got low pressure running in from off the Atlantic into the UK along with the jet stream. It's a very complicated pattern, but it does look rather unsettled, rather changeable going up into the week to 10 day time frame. However, you have to question how long that could go on for, with high pressure sitting to our north and high pressure sitting to our south. The trough of low pressure is kind of like being squeezed, so quite how long that would be able to last for before high pressure would take over again, I'm very unsure. But it does look as though it's quite unsettled in the 7 to 10 day time frame. This is for GFS, and the 500 millibar height anomaly flow chart is even more bizarre. So we've got high pressure sort of blocking to the south of Greenland and up into Greenland and the North Pole, and then back down into Scandinavia. And it does tie in with high pressure down towards Spain and Portugal as well. That's a very, very strange looking height anomaly flow chart, I must say. We're close to this area of low pressure just to the northwest of the country, but again, you do have to question, with so much sort of high pressure all around the UK and then the low pressure stuck in the middle, you do have to question how long any area of low pressure would last for. So although we are going to get a more unsettled interruption in the second half of this week, of course we cover this in the week ahead broadcast, so that's been released already. It looks like it's going to turn more unsettled in the second half of the coming week. But how long that's going to go on for, I think we do have to question how long any unsettled weather can sustain itself for, with signals still largely towards high pressure, covering many western, northern, eastern and southern areas to the north, south, east and west of the UK. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles next couple of weeks. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average on London today. So it's very warm in London up there. It's going to stay warm over the next few days, certainly through the rest of Easter into the early part of next week. Temperatures are lowering. So by the time you get through to the end of next week, temperatures have returned to, or maybe even gone slightly below average. In the more extended range, which of course takes us through the first week of May, looks like temperatures then sitting quite close to average. There's quite a bit of scatter within that though. So there's these warmer ensemble members up here, but also there's some colder ensemble members down there. Overall though, not a big deviation. So I expect the first week of May probably won't be too far from average. Looks more unsettled as well. Lots of dry weather through the rest of the weekend into the start of next week. But then from around middle of next week onwards, turning much more unsettled. Looks like that carries us through to the early part of May as well. So cooler and more unsettled for month's end and the beginning of May. Looks like it's the way that the GFS and its ensembles are trending up the moment. Temperature anomalies from the 20th to 28th of April coming out largely warmer than average, not just for the UK and Ireland, but for most of Northern Europe, particularly warm across Scandinavia, where we've got temperature anomalies up to 10 degrees above average there. Looks colder again down across Iberia. It's colder for Spain and Portugal. It's also colder in the southeast and then, and particularly cold going into the Middle East. Much colder than average through there, but for central, northern, western Europe, those temperature anomalies are coming out above average. Precipitation anomalies from the 20th, 28th of April. Overall, slightly drier than average for the UK. I would expect to see those beginning to trend just that little bit more unsettled, a little bit wetter in the days ahead. This is how the GFS operational run is looking for Tuesday. It's all covered by weekend forecast. Of course, on Tuesday, atmosphere is beginning to wobble, could be sparking off some heavy showers in the southwest, maybe thundery showers in the southwest during Tuesday. And then on Wednesday, a weather system pushes north, as that could take thundery rain up across England and Wales and moving into Scotland and Northern Ireland during Wednesday afternoon. Then we're going to a much more unsettled spell of weather in the second half next week. Low pressures out to west of the UK, bringing showers or longer spells of rain up to next weekend. It stays pretty unsettled. But just beyond that, we start to build the heights up from the south once again. So this is heading up towards day 10. It's Monday 29th of April. High pressure beginning to build very close to the UK. And as we get to day 10, on this particular GFS run, high pressure is starting to take over once again. That's Tuesday, 30th of April, the final day of the month. In the more extended range, this high pressure carries on pushing northwards, becomes a little bit of a northern blocking type feature and pulls back in these fairly cool easterly winds once again. High pressure out to the north and west of the UK. The winds are back in from the east once more as we go through the first week of May. And we're not too far from low pressure, especially across southern parts of England, so that could bring some showers or longer spells of rain to the south as we head in towards the May Day Bank Holiday weekend. That is the May Day Bank Holiday Monday the 6th of May. 384 hours away, so it's a very, very long way off, but it does look rather cool and unsettled, I have to say. Very different Bank Holiday weekend compared to this Easter Bank Holiday weekend. As I say, May Day Bank Holiday weekend updates will begin at Gaz Weathervids tomorrow. This is how the GFS parallel run is looking. Again, Tuesday could spark off some thundery showers in the southwest, and then low pressure is gradually going to take over through the course of next week, becoming increasingly unsettled with showers or longer spells of rain. Temperatures taking a tumble, returning back towards average, maybe by the end of the week, even a little bit below average for the end of April. Heading up towards day 10, it stays unsettled, low pressure very close to us. There's a shallow trough in the 500 millibar flow, so showers and longer spells of rain, and pretty cool as well as heights are rising to the north and to the west of the UK. Into the extended range, we build up a bit of a northern blocking feature around Greenland and Iceland, pulling the winds in from the northeasterly direction. So it's bound to be a cool start to May if that comes off with a risk of showers or longer spells of rain. That's how we look as we get towards the end of the parallel GFS run. It's Monday the 6th of May, it's May Day, bank holiday Monday, and it's 384 hours away, so it's a very long way off. But it does look rather cool, rather unsettled, even up to there. ECMWF is looking like this. So again, we've got risk of some showers breaking out in the southwest on Tuesday, and then into Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. It's turning increasingly unsettled with low pressure bringing showers or longer spells of rain as we move up into the second half next week. In the more extended range, moving up towards day 10. So we saw it on the high comedy flow charts, rather sort of bizarre pattern that's taking place and heading up towards day 10 with high pressure down across Spain and Portugal and blocking to our north with shallow areas of low pressure running in between. That's how we look at day 10, which is Tuesday the 30th of April. By then it looks like it's the northern blocking feature around Greenland and Iceland that's beginning to take over, and it's starting to pull those cool north to northeasterly winds back in again. But it will begin to dry out a little bit once more. This is the 5-day accumulated precipitation from the GFS 6 o'clock run for Saturday, for today, Saturday 20th of April. So this is covering the next 5 days. You see, not much in the way of precipitation. There is precipitation for Wales, southwest England there. The accumulated precipitation is kind of like sort of 10 to 14 or 15 millimetres. Some of these western Irish Sea coasts up to like 28 or 29 millimetres, but generally it is in the far southwest. Most central eastern parts of the country, very little rain in the next 5 days, but the 10 days look much much wetter. This is again going to take us to the end of April. It's taken to the 30th of April. 10-day accumulated precipitation showing, even in the east, we're kind of like going up to between 15 and 20 millimetres, but in the west we're really between around sort of 30 to 50 millimetres in the next 10 days. So there is much more precipitation coming up than we've had for a little while. These are the options that are on the table within the ECMWF ensembles. This is from the Icelandic Met Office. These are the postage stamps from the Icelandic Met Office. So we've got 19 members of the ECM ensembles on the 30th of April, which is 240 hours away, that have high pressure up to our northeast. We sort of have a shallow ridge through the country, stretching back towards the Azores High down here. So they're probably reasonably dry and probably not overly unsettled. That includes the ECM control run as well. Then there's 17 with a blocking feature around Greenland and Iceland, and also high pressure to the south of the UK with shallow areas of low pressure moving in between with a jet stream like that. That includes the ECM operational run, the run that we was just looking at, of course. And then finally, there's 15 members of the ECM ensembles in 10 days' time that do look genuinely unsettled with a trough of low pressure almost over top of the UK. That's a much more unsettled scenario, but only 15 members of the ECM ensembles going with that idea. In 360 hours time, which is 2 weeks away, taking us to the 5th of May, these are the options that we've got. So we've got 16 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure to our north. They're bringing in easterly winds, probably fairly cool, but you would have thought mainly dry. Then there's 13 with high pressure centred around Greenland and Iceland, low pressure across Scandinavia, and they'll be bringing down quite cold northerly winds with those ones. There's 12 with low pressure around Greenland and Iceland. They're bringing in a westerly, southwesterly flow. They're a more unsettled option, those 12. And then finally, I think these are probably the best ones. These 10 just here have high pressure over and to the south and east of the UK. Low pressure is up to the north. With these ones, the jet stream is also pushed north of the UK. So on the warm side of the jet with closer region of high pressure. Those are the warmest 10, bringing a lot of dry and fairly warm weather, I would have thought, through the first week of May. But there are various options on the table here for the early part of May, telling us that uncertainty continues really as we're going into the first week of May. Finally, we'll just finish off with the CFS. So these are 500 millibar hikes broken down into weekly periods. The first weekly period takes us from the 20th to the 26th of April. April, that's right. The coming week has above average hikes over Scandinavia and stretching into the UK and out into the Atlantic as well. Lots of dry, warm weather on offer. Jet streams pushed off up there, so expect loads of dry and warm weather with those that week. Then we go through to week 2. This one takes us from the 27th of April to the 3rd of May. Looks a little bit more unsettled. High pressure's pulling out into the middle of the Atlantic. Low pressure is out to the northwest. That's sending the jet stream on the northwest southeast alignment. So looking rather unsettled there. Particularly so for northern parts of the country, a little bit cooler, a little bit unsettled for the closing days of April and the opening days of May. However, it's not very long at all. It's only a brief interruption to the high pressure fest, because it's not long at all before we go to week 3, which is the 4th to the 10th of May, and high pressure is back in again over and to the east of the UK, and we'd be pulling up warm winds again from a southerly southeast direction. And then we finish up in week 4, which is the 11th to the 17th of May, with high pressure still again rooted near the UK, just to our northeast. Again, we're dragging up pretty warm winds from a south to southeasterly direction. There. So the CFS does want to turn in a little bit more unsettled in week 2, a little bit cooler, a little bit more unsettled in week 2, but it's only a brief interruption. Then the CFS wants to very quickly get us back to high pressure, warm and dry conditions returning through the first half of May. We shall see about that. In the next week's 10-day time frame, which is more reliable, it looks like it'll be quite unsettled in the second half of the coming week after a warm and dry Easter. Of course, it does turn cooler and more unsettled through the second half of next week. That could last into next weekend as well. Beyond that, though, there are a few signs that high pressure might start to build. But if it does, it's likely more towards the northwest of the UK, which is a relatively cool direction. So although it may dry out as we go through towards month's end and begin to turn as we go into the early part of May, although it might dry out, it might actually turn a little bit colder or certainly cooler as we go through the opening days of May. We shall see. Right, so that's it for your second video update for today. Tonight we've got CFS 600. Okay, that's just for fun, just have a laugh at it. So that's taking us from next month, from May through to October. We'll see what the CFS is showing for the next 6 months tonight. Tomorrow, what a busy day got coming up. You're going to start off with Solar Sunday. It is Solar Sunday at Gazzo. Tomorrow. It's Easter Sunday, but it's also Solar Sunday. We're going to be giving away the prize, so somebody will be winning that fantastic temperature and humidity forecast station. We're going to begin the countdown to the May Day bank holiday weekend, can you believe? And we'll have the ECMWF and Meteo France long-range update. If I can fit it in, we'll have Gazworthy's Sunday Roundup, but I will be pushing it to get the Sunday Roundup in this week with so much else going on. So just watch your space on that. I may not be able to get it in for you. Right, so come back later on this evening when we're going to have a CFS 6 look at all of the updates coming up tomorrow. That's all for now, though, and thanks for watching.